Hello, TimberSurf here with a little guide on PVA glue. So the question is, are all PVA glues the same? And the answer is no, they're not. For a start, there are two sorts. One which is classified as an outdoor or all-weather, which is a waterproof PVA, and the second which is indoor, or sometimes there's no marking on it, so you have to assume that it's not waterproof, i.e. it's not for using outside. So what is the actual difference? Well, quite simply, the non-waterproof is cheaper, and it has a known quality, which is that it will re-emulsify when you wet it, i.e. it basically will debond if you soak it in water, whereas the weatherproof will not debond and it will stay glued together even when you get it wet or damp. And that has advantages in building for use as a primer or a glue outside. Then you want a waterproof glue, but if you don't need those qualities, you can have a non-waterproof PVA glue, which chances are it will be a lot cheaper. And for modelling, for most cases, for doing the scenery, etc., then the non-waterproof will work very happily, and I would strongly recommend that you use the non-waterproof indoor version if you're ballasting track, because one day you might want to change it, and if you do, you can pour some warm water on it and the ballast will come away and you can reuse the track, whereas if you've used waterproof PVA glue in your ballast, it's indestructible and your track will be ruined if you try and take it up. Trust me, I've been there, done that. So what's the difference between brands and cost? Well, the different manufacturers will all use the same basic glue, but if it's specifically designed as a wood glue, it will have further additives in it that help it from doing wood gluing specifically, not necessarily useful to those that are using it for modelling, and therefore makes it a lot more expensive, and you're paying for a brand name. There are brand names out there that you should trust, which are the big well-known companies that you can buy from building suppliers that are my go-tos, but buying it as a specific wood glue will end up costing you a lot more money. So what's the difference in cost? Well, very simply, if you buy a really cheap PVA, you're going to get watered down PVA. So anything that says school glue in it means it's watered down. If it's surprisingly cheap from a shop, the chances are it's watered down. You need to go to a commercial supplier, namely a builder's suppliers, like Screwfix, Toolstation in the UK, etc., where you can buy it in bulk for a fraction of the cost than you see it elsewhere. So we're talking about £13 to £15 for 5 litres, whereas you're going to pay half that amount of money for 1 litre from most other suppliers. My personal favourite is actually Toolstation, who at the present moment of this video are selling contractors PVA for about £9.50, Everbuild 501 PVA bonding agent, which is technically waterproof, for just £13, and for £14, so the one I go for, they've got a super concentrate, which is actually 8-to-1 ratio as opposed to the normal 5-to-1, meaning it's like 20 or 30% more concentrated than any other PVA glue on the market. So instead of 50-50 water down, you can use a 35-to-65 ratio, and obviously neat. It is really thick and sticky and it dries really quickly. So steer clear of school glues and craft glues. They're already watered down and you don't really know how much they've been watered down, so are not value for money. Don't use wood glue other than for wood glue, and stick to well-known brands that you get in bulk from the likes of building suppliers. And that about wraps it up. So from me, TimberSurf, it's ciao for now.